Someone asked me yesterday why I use the word she-male to describe myself. And there are many reasons for this. I value communication, and everybody knows exactly what I am when I tell them that I'm a she-male. Everybody knows what a she-male is. Sure, I could tell you that I'm a non-op transgender woman, but how many people would understand what that is? Very, very few. And when I talked about this to this person, she ended up saying, well, technically, if you're not going to have surgery, you're transgender, just transgender, period. And if you do have surgery, then you're transsexual. And I replied, well, see, I'm glad you brought that up, because that's another reason I call myself a she-male. I don't want to go anywhere near that mess of technically you need to call a person this, technically they're not black, technically they're African American, technically they're not midgets, technically they're little people. I don't fucking want to get caught into any of that bullshit. I just want to be able to communicate an idea from my head to yours, and I'm going to use whatever word will communicate that idea most effectively. Besides which, she's wrong. A transgender is somebody who the gender roles of society which they are expected to fulfill based on their sexual characteristics are not the ones that they feel. A transgender is a man who acts like a woman or a woman who acts like a man. If you start doing body augmentation like I have and you start growing breasts, then you're transsexual. Transgender describes what you do. Transsexual describes what your body is. Technically, she and I both are non-op transsexuals. Not transgender, but technically we're non-op transsexuals. Shortly after we had this conversation, she posted something on Facebook about how somebody asked her why she used this tag of transgender when she's passable and nobody would know anything about it if she didn't call herself transgender. I don't think anybody actually asked her about that. I think she just wanted to make that point, so she just said that somebody asked her about it. The gist of her message was that she takes a lot of pride in being transgender. And I hate that. I don't think it should matter that she's transgender, and this includes her. I don't think it should matter to her that she's transgender. I don't think she should be making these Facebook posts about how great it is being transgender and how proud she is of herself, because I don't think that dividing herself off from everybody else on the basis of the fact that she's transgender is a good thing to be doing. So what? You're transgender. Is that really the only characteristic you have worth talking about? And yes, I do call myself the anarchist female, but it's not to call attention to the fact that I'm transgender or, non-op transsexual. It's because the anarchist female is a brand. I mean, that's an alias. That is something that people will remember. Well, who wrote this article? The anarchist female did. Oh, okay, well, I've heard of her before. It's simple. It's a brand. It's not like I just go up to random people and, hey, did you know I'm a female? I don't do that. The whole reason we had this conversation is that she said it was degrading. She said that it seemed to her that it would be degrading to be called a she-male, and I don't think it's degrading at all. It's like if you call a midget is supposedly degrading, but if you ask me, calling them a little person is way more degrading. A little person? That implies that they're some kind of lesser person. And transgender is way more offensive than she-male can ever be, because then you gotta have this long conversation about what exactly you are. Oh, you're transgender? Well, that describes about 75 different things. Which one of those 75 different things are you? Or, I'm a she-male. Oh, okay, well I know what that is. Realistically, the non-op transgender woman anarchist doesn't have any kind of ring to it. But my main point of contention is that she took a lot of pride in the fact that she is transgender, and I don't think that's the right way of looking at things. I don't think that we should pick out one characteristic that we have and give any particular significance to it. I mean, sure, I'm transgender. I'm also a writer, an atheist, an anarchist, a nihilist, a musician, a poet, a novelist. Why should I pick out this one characteristic of transgender and wear it like a badge of honor? I would much rather wear novelist as a badge of honor or atheist as a badge of honor, because those are things that I've done, not things that I am. I mean, if I'm going to pick out one characteristic that describes me, it's not going to be one that I happen to have because of a fluke of birth and personality. I'm going to pick out one that conveys that I've done something of value, something significant. Why would I go around saying that I'm transgender when I could instead go around saying I've written a book, 2 books, in fact 3, technically. Why would I pick transgender as my pet characteristic when I could instead tell people I'm a novelist, I'm a poet, I'm an accomplished musician? Why would anybody just pick one? We need to stop this. If you don't want it to matter to other people that you're transgender, then you can't let it matter to you. That's simply the reality. If you go around putting significance into the fact that you're transgender, then other people will too. And that means it matters that you're transgender because it's significant. That's not the right way of doing things. I know I covered a lot of ground just now. I didn't really intend to, but I do intend to keep the video short, so I'm going to edit out quite a bit of it. Thank you for listening, and I hope I gave you something to think about.